Hey guys, DMS here. Today I have for you a review of the Audeze Mobius. Let's check them out. This is definitely not your average headphone. It's crazy feature rich and crazy packed with tech. So I've got some notes here that I've made during my time with these headphones, and we can start with the build. Now they are plastic, but they do feel pretty solid. I don't seem to have any complaints with the overall build of these. I definitely think that out of the headphone as a whole, it seems like this is probably going to be the weakest point, but I don't see it breaking anytime in the near future. The pads snap off like so, and you can see the driver in there. I do kind of wish that they used a more traditional method of pad mounting so that we didn't have to click them on and off. I wish it was just something folded onto a lip, but I understand why they did this. I guess they probably don't want people pad rolling them too much because it's going to change the sound, and they have a very specific set of sounds that they do intend for these headphones to have. These do have reasonably good clamp, and the pads are acceptably deep. However, the headband on the very top center is definitely lacking because it is so short. I wish it went out just a little bit farther because I only end up with pressure right here, and it gives me kind of a hot spot in the center of my head, and I'm not a big fan of that. And the mic quality, let's give that a test real quick. Check. This is the Audeze Mobius's built-in mic. It's not crazy, but it is definitely acceptable for a gaming headset. People can definitely understand what I'm saying. Now, I don't think that's a substitute for a desktop microphone, but it definitely does hold up on its own. And luckily, it's removable. Now, these also have USB Type-C, Bluetooth, and a 3.5mm input. Now, the downside of the Bluetooth connectivity is that it does have pretty high latency, I found. So you're not going to be gaming on Bluetooth unless you really mind the latency, or unless you're using a TV that also has latency. But if you're PC gaming with a low latency monitor, you're going to notice it. But I think most of the time you should probably be gaming through the USB-C plug anyway. Now, this is connected to Windows as an 8-channel device, which is nice. And getting into that, this does have 3D head tracking surround. Now, unlike the Bluetooth, this 3D head tracking does not have any kind of latency at all. It's very immediate as soon as I move my head. It locks on very well. You can manually set it to a center point, or you can set it to automatic to where if you're facing a direction for a certain amount of time, it automatically recalibrates that as the center. And I found that to work the best for me because it does lock on well, but occasionally the manual setting would shift just a little bit in either direction after a good bit of use. But I will say it does seem a bit exaggerated. I understand that HRTF headphones are simulating a room and how sound is going to bounce around, but it sounds like the room I'm sitting in is just concrete walls, floor, and ceiling. There is definitely added reverb and delays. Not delay as in latency, but delays as in repeating sounds. I am definitely not a fan of that. Some people may like it. I will say I don't know if it's entirely possible, but I wish that these could simulate somewhat of a room sound with more of the idea of a treated room rather than an echo chamber. Because I found that generally made both music and gaming less enjoyable as far as the overall listening experience is concerned. However, I will say in gaming, it did improve my directional accuracy. Now, it's kind of hard to talk about sound on these because there's so many DSP options that there isn't just a set sound signature. Out of the DSP options available, my favorites were flat and default, and flat does sound dead flat. It does sound like a studio reference flat frequency response. And the driver is definitely capable. It is fast, it is tight, and the detail is more than acceptable. The only areas that I really didn't find very enjoyable were the soundstage and imaging when 3D was turned off. Of course, the downside when 3D is turned on would be that it sounds like I'm in a concrete room. But with 3D turned off, the imaging and soundstage kind of disappear. And I know that closed-back headphones can have good soundstage and good imaging because we have headphones like the Modhouse Argon, or even the QC35 too, which I know are nothing crazy, but they do have soundstage. I feel like that could be fixed with a software update though. Now, these are marketed towards gamers, and I will say that gaming was a mixed experience. As I said, 3D mode definitely helped significantly with my directional accuracy, but I would prefer a little bit less of the concrete room sound. I wish we could simulate more of a treated room, but it definitely improved my directional accuracy, and my biggest complaint aside from that would probably be comfort. Like I said, this pad on top, I'd either love to have suspension strap or just have this pad be wider. That way it's not just creating a hot spot right in the dead center of my head, because that's not very enjoyable to be deep in immersive content and continuously having to shift around my headset because it's creating a sore spot on top of my head. One area though I will say where this 3D audio really shined was when watching movies. It doesn't necessarily sound like I am right in the movie, but it sounds a lot more like a movie theater, which is a nice little trick, and I definitely found that very enjoyable. I really would love to see this headphone with the option to have a custom DSP, because you can plug it up to your computer and you can change settings from there, but there's no option to actually create your own custom DSP settings, and I don't know if Audeze is going to do this or not. I would really love that. I think that would be an excellent feature. I think lots of users would very much enjoy being able to load their own custom profiles onto it, but only time will tell if that'll happen. We do know that they are pushing at some point more presets via firmware update at some point. My particular set does not have the firmware update, but I remember Metal 571's Mobius does have the updated warm setting. So with all this said, I think DSP is definitely the future of audio. The technology is becoming more and more common, and this is one of the first times we've really seen an audiophile company pushing DSP into a headphone this advanced. In fact, I don't really know of another headphone with this much technology packed into it. So I definitely think that Audeze's headed in the right direction, but I do see the need for some changes. But overall, this is a very capable platform to build on. I remember speaking with Audeze at Rocky Mountain Audio Fest, and they told me about several very interesting things they plan on doing with these headphones outside of the realm of gaming, and I think that those updates will be very useful. So when it really comes down to it, I don't see myself owning Mobius, but I do see it greatly improving over time with software updates, and I think that if you like the 3D sound, if that's your thing, if you're really into that, or if you're one of the people that these future changes are going to benefit, then this is definitely a very strong contender, and I really do hope to see Audeze develop this more, and I do hope to see more headphones like this. And as I said, I am not 100% content with where it's at right now, but I think it's definitely headed in the right direction. And I'm glad to see Audeze pushing for something new, because audio has been stagnant for a very long time, and we're not going to make progress unless companies like Audeze try and push through a new path. So guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please leave a like down below and a comment letting me know what you want to see in the future. If you want early access to reviews like this, you can check out the Patreon linked in the video description, and don't forget to stick around and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Until the next one, guys. Peace.